Okay, my name is Oscar Sierra with Sierra Botanica and Collaborative Medicine. Today we're going to show you how to make an infusion, aka a tea. And by infusion, I don't mean what Western conventional medicine calls an IV infusion, or what those little kind of varicosities going up into your sclera of your eyeballs are also called infusions, but we're calling it infusion, which is just kind of the most commonly practiced form of medicine in the world for like thousands of years, which is basically some kind of plant material and some water and some thyme. You don't even really need heat, and then you're going to produce medicine. And sometimes it tastes good, sometimes it doesn't. The one we're going to make today should taste pretty good. So let's get started. We're going to use filtered water. We have some EcoFlow water here. You can use reverse osmosis if you got it. You pour the water into your heating element. In this case, we have a nice stainless steel, no plastic inside. That's very important. So you pour the water in there. You know how to pour water. This particular heating element has a temperature sensor that you can choose to go boiling, or you can choose to go barely hot at all. You can choose to go somewhere in the middle. That matters. I typically start off with either room temperature or just pretty warm. And then as I make more, the next batches I go hotter and hotter and hotter, maybe let it steep longer and longer. So you might have, if you came to our botanical apothecary, we may have made for you a customized herbal mix in a bag. We don't like to use plastic, but for the purposes of this video, so that you can see all the lovely herbs in there we did today, we usually put them in a paper bag. So you may get something like this. Today I was just a little tired because I hung out with our good friend Jason Cedar Miller last night and checked out a great blues show here at Blind Willie's. We're big fans of music and blues dancing. And he was in town from Oregon teaching a seminar. So I'm a little tired, so I was going to use a little bit of our friend Jeannie Dunn from Red Moon Herbs. Has some amazing ginseng leaf. I didn't use the root because that's crazy expensive, and the leaf tastes pretty good. It's got a really great profile of saponin similar to the root, which gives you a lot of those same ginsenosides, which are great for energy. So let's put some ginseng leaf, in this case, in the French press, which I typically reserve for just herbal medicine, so that all of my herbal medicine doesn't always taste like coffee, if in case you do coffee. So we got some ginseng in here. We've got some Gotu Kola, aka Centella Asiatica, which is, oh, I love the smell of that. That is actually one of my favorite smells. It reminds me of antique furniture. And we're going to put some Gotu Kola, Centella Asiatica in here. These are the type of things where you don't need to measure out by the gram. You're fine kind of just ballparking it. I'm using this mix because I want to get my brain awake for my next patient this afternoon, who is, I believe, a new patient. So we'll put that there. And we're also going to use a little bit today of Tulsi, aka Oxynum sanctum. And there's different varieties of Tulsi. This one in particular was grown by our good friend Noelle Fuller at the University of Georgia, who's going to be getting her doctorate. She did her master's degree from the University of Georgia, specializing in doing her thesis on none other than Tulsi. So she is a good friend of ours. She's a good friend of the Georgia Herbalists Guild. She grew this herself organically on UGA grounds, and she was kind enough to hook us up. It is a beautiful mint that does help with kind of calming down the nervous system. We call it a nervine. It happens to taste pretty good, and it's local. So is Jeannie Dunn stuff from the Carolinas. That's our region. We've got some Jiaogulan today also. So that is Ginastema, which is an interesting one. I mentioned I was a little tired and need a little pick-me-up. So besides the ginseng, does not have caffeine, but it is a great one for a little pick-me-up of energy. It also kind of has some similar saponins and similar compounds as ginseng, but it is a whole lot cheaper. So I'm going to put a little bit of this stuff in there, and making a little bit of a mess. That's okay. All right. That was Jiaogulan, which is kind of a fun one to say. Am I missing anything? Oh, I typically just like licorice. It's a great adaptogenic herb. Actually, both the Tulsi, the Jiaogulan, and the ginseng are adaptogens, which we can talk more about at another time. But let's try some ginseng. some gansao, aka licorice, and a little goes a long way. This is the root. We don't really need to worry about it raising blood pressure at doses like a pinch or 3. It just makes it a little sweet because the go-to cola is a little bit drying. So is the jiao gulan ginastema. Kind of gives a little bit of a dry mouthfeel. The licorice, besides being adaptogen, helps kind of demulcent. It's got a moistening quality besides it being sweet. So our water is now hot. It is very simple. You pour the water into the most modestly pressed receptacle that we have today, which is a French press. The French press has no plastic pieces that are touching the tea or the water or the herbs, and that is important. We got glass and stainless steel. We have stainless steel. You can, after you use them, you basically can just open these things up, take these things apart, clean them out, rinse them out, put them back together, easy as pie, spin it back on, and then you're going to press it. How long do you let it steep? That is a good question. As long as you want. And initially I let it steep. If it's hot water, maybe not so long, just a few minutes. And then I drink all of that, say sometimes even like 30 seconds. Look, this isn't even hot water. I actually just use cold water just to make it look like it was hot water for the camera. But as you can see, even just cold water produced phytochemicals in the water. So that is medicine right there. So you pour that out and enjoy, and you spin this to where you can actually get some stuff out of there. There we go. And you can drink that. Yummy, yummy. You drink all of that, and then you heat up some more water and you pour it back in there, and then maybe next time you let it steep for 5 minutes. And then so long as you still see color in there, you're still getting good medicine. So this same batch of herbs, typically in the bottom of this is about a 32-ounce French press. You're going to put about that much plant material. If it's a particularly poofy herb, that is to say something that takes up a lot of volume, such as a marshmallow root, or really notorious for that is the corn silk. It's very poofy, but if you just kind of mush it, it's kind of like a wet dog or a wet cat. It takes up a lot of, a dry wet. If you get the cat or the dog wet, it's like really skinny. So when you get it wet, you see that it's not much plant material. It's just very poofy. So for those cases, you use more volume, but in most cases, you use about that much, which ends up being about 3, maybe 4 tablespoons. You drink that, you enjoy it throughout your day. You put it in your water bottle, you put it in your Camelback, you put it in your big gulp that you take to work, or put it in your car, whatever. You drink it, and then you pour some more hot water in there. This is good for a day. I wouldn't use this more than a day or 48 hours. It gets a little funky. So after you're done drinking your tea, you just take the bottom, you compost it, you wipe it down, maybe a little soap and water, you take it apart, rinse it off. The next day, you're ready to go. So that is how you make an herbal infusion. It is pretty simple. You shouldn't overthink it. It's not necessary to measure these things by the gram or very finitely. If you want your tea more strong, add a little bit more plant material. If you want it a little bit lighter and weaker, add a little bit less plant material. So that's it. You can mix and match. As you guys know, if you've been to our Botanica, in Apothecary, we have a whole entire wall of teas and herbs. Some of them taste good, some of them not so much. But if you want to come by and have us make you a custom compounded herbal medicine mix that is custom made for your condition, your environment, and your constitution, give us a call. So again, Oscar Sierra, Sierra Collaborative Medicine, Sierra Botanica and Collaborative Medicine, and we're happy to help.